So, thank you. Now, principles of management, as we discuss, are general guidelines for managerial action and decision making. Yeah. General guidelines for managerial action and decision making. So, whenever managers need to take some decisions and they are in a situation what to do, what not to do, at that time, these principles of management give some insight to them, insight to managers, that what to do in a specific situation. That's why they are called general guidelines to managerial action and decision making. Is it clear, Sairam?
Yes, sir.
Now, what features we have discussed, that universal applicability, principles of management are applicable in all types of organizations, whether political organization or social organization or economical organization. And that's why it is said that principles of management has universal validity. Okay. Then general guidelines, as we discussed, principles of management do not suggest any specific solution to a specific problem. They only give general guidelines or general insight what can be done in a specific situation. They are suggestive in nature basically, that in this situation this can be done. Ultimate decision will be taken by every individual manager. So principles can give an insight to the managers that in a specific situation what can be done. So out of many options, one option will be suggested by principles of management. That's what it said. Manager principles of management are general guidelines. Okay, so they provide some insight to the managers to take a decision or to find out the solution for a specific problem, but they do not suggest any specific solution. Suppose some manager says that my company is running in a loss. So principles of management cannot say that you do this and your company will come in profit. This is not possible. So principles of management can suggest that bring discipline in the organization, have unity of command. If this will be done, maybe that company will become profit making. So they are general in nature, not specific. Yeah. Third was formed by practice and experimentation. This we have already discussed earlier also, that most of the principles of management are formed by experience. They are evolutionary in nature. On the basis of experience of managers, these principles are being formed. Okay. Those who are practicing as a manager, whatever they experience, they drafted their experiences as the principles of management. And some principles of management are developed by experimentation by management thinkers like F.W. Taylor. So these principles are developed by practice and experimentation, more by practice and less by experimentation. In science, it is opposite. More of the principles are formed by experimentation and less by practice. अभी बच्चे बहुत कमा रहे हैं, क्या हो गया आज की क्लास में? बात करनी पड़ेगी पेरेंट्स से. शुरुआत जब की थी हमने तो अच्छा था नंबर, लेकिन अब दोबारा देखो अभी शायद 13 ही बच्चे हैं इस क्लास में. देखता हूँ आज कौन कौन नहीं है, फिर अटेंडेंस बोल सकते हैं कौन कौन है. पहले देखो, चैतन्य का लिख लिया मैंने, पूर्वी, वर्षा, संभव, अदिति, भूमि, देशना, शिवम, दिव्या, वैष्णवी, भार्गव, दक्ष, जैन. और कौन है इसमें इनके अलावा?
सर मैं.
नाम बताओ.
सर कनक.
कनक गुर्जर है ना?
यस सर.
और बोलो.
सर आदित्य जोशी.
आदित्य जोशी. ठीक है. ये भी है क्या? उसी है क्या? नहीं है. और कौन? अभी तो 13 ही नाम हुए, 16 दिखा रहा लिस्ट में. स्वास्तिका नायक. स्वास्तिका. और
शिवम।
हाँ शिवम पौरिक, शिवम का तो नाम लिख दिया मैंने। तुम्हारे पास अटेंडेंस सेव हुई क्या? क्या नाम तुम्हारा पर्चा?
यस सर।
कितने का है क्या तुम्हारे उसमें?
नो सर।
नहीं है ना, हाँ ठीक है।
सर पूर्वी 2 बार ज्वाइन है।
अच्छा पूर्वी 2 बार ज्वाइन है, अच्छा इसलिए याद दिख रहा है। और ठीक है, बाकी लोग नहीं है, नहीं 14 ही लोग हैं शायद, लेकिन 17 है मुझे मिला।
मैं ले लूंगी, मेरे पास है।
तुम्हारे पास है ना?
यस
हाँ
सर।
तो अटेंडेंस पे लेना, तो सेव कर लेना। अच्छा तुम्हारे पास
Yes.
अटेंडेंस लिस्ट है क्या?
सर वो मीट अटेंडेंस वाला मेरे पास एक्सटेंशन है, तो उससे ले लूंगी।
हाँ हाँ उसमें लेके लेना, तो मेरे पास आ जाएगा वो।
यस सर, मैं मेल कर दूंगी सर आपको।
हाँ हाँ ठीक ठीक ठीक। नहीं फिर भी बच्चे कम क्यों आ रहे हैं इतने सारे? 14-15 बच्चे आ रहे हैं 24 में से, सब गायब होना चालू हो गए फिर दोबारा से। ओके नाउ, so form by practice and experimentation, then flexible ना, principles of management। flexible means होता है changeable, flexibility means possibility to change, it is not rigid। principles of management are not rigid or strict like principles of science, because as I said principles of management deals with the human beings, that's why according to situation they need to be modified, that's why principles of management have sufficient flexibility, means according to the situation managers can make necessary modifications to make an principle more effective according to the demand of the situation। तो आप थोड़ा चेंज करके उसको अपने हिसाब से बना सकते हैं according to your situation। ओके mainly behavioral है। the main focus of principles of management is to influence the behavior of managers or human beings, है ना? so their main focus area is human behavior। so what is the target area of principles of management? the target area of principles of management is the human behavior। okay so they are mainly behavioral, means that they are concerned or principles of management belong to human beings, not to things or money or any other thing, that means mainly behavioral। so principles of management are mainly behavioral, means they aim at influencing the human behavior, their subject matter is human behavior to help the managers to take a decision, that is the behavior, and they are not related to at all to other things like machines or equipment or other resources, they are not affected by principles of management। okay so now cause and effect relationship, principles of management are based on cause and effect relationship, though this cause and effect relationship is not as perfect as in case of principles of science। जितना वो साइंस के प्रिंसिपल्स में होता है परफेक्ट, उतना परफेक्ट मैनेजमेंट प्रिंसिपल्स में नहीं है, बट अप टू सम एक्सटेंट these principles also establish cause and effect relationship। okay it means that if a principle will be applied in the similar situation in one organization, and if same situation is prevailing in the other organization, and if same principle is applied, then most probably the result will be the same। there may be some variation because of human nature, but most probably the result will be the same। that's what is said that cause and effect relationship। and contingent, this is the dynamism। management business environment is dynamic, keep on changing, is not static, that's why the application of principles of management is contingent or dependent on prevailing situation। so as we have already discussed that principles of management are flexible, so these are 2 points should be studied together, understood together। because of flexibility this contingent is possible। okay so principles of management are contingent, they are to be modified, they are to be changed, they are to be redefined according to the prevailing situation. Okay. इसने एक एग्जांपल दिया कि सपोज एम्प्लॉइज डिमांड फॉर फेयर वेजेज. नाउ ओके, so fair wages is not defined anywhere. So what is the meaning of fair wages? So in Reliance Industries, if we find the 1 lakh rupee per month may be the fair wages, but in a small business where total capital is 1 lakh, maybe the 2000 rupees the fair wages. So fair wages term need to be explained or need to be understood in a specific situation. We cannot take one amount that this amount is the fair wages, less than this will be the unfair wages. That cannot be done. That's what is said, contingent, they are to be applied or they are dependent on the prevailing situation at a particular point of time. So in a situation, whatever is appropriate, that needs to be done according to the principles of management. Now, सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट, ये शायद हट गया है मुझे लगता है. सिग्निफिकेंस इसका देख लेंगे बाद में, नहीं होगा तो पढ़ लेंगे बाद में. इसको हटा दिया शायद, प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट का जो इम्पोर्टेंस है वो ना. अब जो हमारे पास दो मैनेजमेंट थिंकर्स हैं, टेलर, F.W. टेलर, फ्रेडरिक विंस्लो टेलर फ्रॉम US, and Henry Fayol from France. Okay. These two are known as the fathers of, one is known as F.W. Taylor is known as father of scientific management, and Henry Fayol is known as father of general administration. These two management thinkers have contributed a lot to the management thought. They work as a manager. They spent their life drafting the principles, concepts and theories of management, and they are worldwide accepted. So they are suggested to in our syllabus, F.W. Taylor and Henry Fayol. So first we will discuss Taylor's scientific management. Okay. Scientific management. Taylor has given first time the term scientific management. Okay. So if you have the book, in this book in the beginning, the brief life history of Taylor is given. And this is only for reading purpose, informative only in nature, but nothing is asked from this topic of life history of Taylor. So I am just reading. Scientific management refer to an important stream of one of the earliest school of thought of management, referred to a classical school. So there were many thoughts, many school of thoughts at that time. So Taylor was a member of classical school. So both F.W. Taylor and Henry Fayol both were the members of classical school. It is a group of thinkers basically which are given as the name of thought school. Other two streams belonging to the classical school are Fayol's administrative theory and Max Weber's bureaucracy. We will not be describing bureaucracy here. A discussion of Fayol's principles, however, will follow the discussion scientific management. अब देखो, Frederick Winslow Taylor was an American mechanical engineer. इसकी लाइफ हिस्ट्री बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है, इंस्पायरिंग है. He was an American mechanical engineer who sought to improve industrial efficiency. This is the most important thing about Taylor. And this is the most important difference between Taylor and Fayol. Taylor started working as a labor, as a worker, and his more focus was on improving industrial efficiency, improving the conditions of worker, how to improve the conditions for worker. While Fayol's main focus was to improve the conditions of management. So he started working as a manager. He whole life worked as a manager. So his focus area of study was improving the conditions of management. But Taylor's focus area was to improve the industrial efficiency and to improve the conditions of workers. In 1874, he became the apprentice mechanist. Apprentice जानते हैं जो सीखने आते हैं, मशीन चलाना सीखते थे. मशीन चलाना मजदूर एक तरह से मान सकते हो. learning factory condition at the grassroots levels. He earned a degree in mechanical engineering. बाद में इवनिंग क्लास में जाते थे और इवनिंग क्लास में उन्होंने मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग किया है. He was one of the intellectual leaders of the So now I was discussing about this efficiency movement. In efficiency movement, or all members who were related to this efficiency movement, they tried to improve the efficiency of factory. Improving efficiency means that how can we increase productivity. Last year हमने पढ़ा था उसमें objectives of business में productivity. So the main focus of this efficiency movement was on improving productivity. How to improve productivity means how to minimize the wastage of the resources and how to get maximum output with minimum input. That was the main focus of this efficiency movement. Means how to minimize the wastage of labor, how to minimize the wastage of materials, how to make best use of the time of the management available. So this all was related to the efficiency movement. So Taylor was also one of the important member of this efficiency movement. Now, and was the highly influential in shaping the factory system of production. You must appreciate that he belonged to the era of the industrial revolution, characterized by mass production. You must also appreciate that every new development takes some time to be perfected. Taylor's contribution must be seen in the light of the efforts made to perfect the factory system of production. अब टेलर का क्या था, सबसे बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट टूल क्या था टेलर का? इसका सबसे बड़ा रूल है वो साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट है. What is the meaning of scientific management? Scientific management means that applying scientific approach while managing the business organization. So when we use scientific aptitude, when we take management decisions, that is called scientific management, or application of scientific approach, application of scientific attitude in management is called scientific management. So science believes on research, science believes on testing first, then applying. So the same thing was suggested by F.W. Taylor in field of management. That's why he said that father of scientific management. So he said that don't use any method. First check all the alternative methods, find out which methods are available, evaluate them, then find out the best method, then use it. Don't use any machine or equipment. Study different machines and equipment, set standardization. So for each and everything he wanted to use scientific temperament or scientific approach. That's why he is said to be the father of scientific management. So Taylor thought that by scientifically analyzed work, it would be possible to find one best way to do it. He is most remembered for his time and motion studies. इसने दो स्टडी की आगे पढ़ेंगे हमें. एक टाइम स्टडी है. टाइम स्टडी to determine the standard time to complete a task. ना। वो कहता है कि कोई भी काम करने से पहले, वर्कर को काम देने से पहले पहले आप डिसाइड करो कि उसको पूरा करने में कितना टाइम लगना चाहिए, व्हाट शुड बी द स्टैंडर्ड टाइम टू कंप्लीट, एंड वर्कर इज सपोज टू कंप्लीट द टास्क विद इन दैट टाइम। और दूसरा था मोशन स्टडी। मोशन स्टडी इज रिलेटेड टू मूवमेंट्स ऑफ बॉडी पार्ट्स। तो उसने बोला कि पहले फॉर एवरी वर्क वी हैव टू डिसाइड रिक्वायर्ड मोशन। इस काम को करने में कौन कौन से बॉडी के पार्ट मूव करना चाहिए, कौन से मूव नहीं करना चाहिए, और जो रिक्वायर्ड मोशन है वही वर्कर करे, उसको ऐसी ट्रेनिंग दो। जैसे मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ आपको, तो मुझे मुंह चलाना है केवल या हाथ चलाना है, तो उसने कहा पहले स्टडी करो कि कौन कौन से मूवमेंट्स वर्कर करेगा एट द टाइम ऑफ परफॉर्मिंग दिस जॉब। क्योंकि उसको लगता था कि एवरी बॉडी मूवमेंट कंज्यूम सम एनर्जी, एंड इफ वर्कर मेक्स अननेसेसरी मूवमेंट्स he gets quickly tired. So that's why he suggested motion studies. So for each and every task we need to list out the necessary motions and unnecessary motions. ये एक्टिविटी करना है आपको अलाउड है, ये एक्टिविटी आप नहीं करोगे। कुछ लोग बैठे बैठे टांग हिलाते रहते हैं, तो बोला कि नहीं नहीं, ये अननेसेसरी मोशन है, इसकी जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ये आपका एनर्जी कंज्यूम करेगा। एवरी मोशन ऑफ द बॉडी कंज्यूम्स एनर्जी। ओके, सो he is remembered for time and motion study. He would break a job into its compartment parts and measure each to the second. तो हर एक वर्क को छोटे छोटे पार्ट में डिवाइड करता था, फिर उसको मेजर करना, स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन करना, कितना टाइम लगना चाहिए, कौन कौन से मूवमेंट होना चाहिए, उसके लिए कौन सा मेथड यूज करेंगे, दैट एवरीथिंग शुड बी प्री-डिसाइडेड, स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड. Taylor believed that contemporary management was amateurish and should be studied as a discipline. He also wanted that workers should cooperate with management and thus there would be no need of trade unions. ये उस समय की सिचुएशन थी। अमिताभ बच्चन की पिक्चर जितनी देखी होंगी आपने, अमिताभ बच्चन का लोग बोलते थे एंग्री यंग मैन। एंग्री यंग मैन की इमेज कैसे बनी? क्योंकि उस समय जो माहौल था, उस समय था कि पूरी सोसाइटी में दो बड़े सेक्शंस थे, एक तो कैपिटलिस्ट थे और एक लेबर थे, फैक्ट्री मालिक और सेठ जी और मजदूर लोग। तो फैक्ट्री ओनर्स के अगेंस्ट में मजदूर लोग स्ट्राइक करते थे, सैलरी बढ़ाओ, ये करो, वो करो, ज्यादा मजदूरी दो, बोनस दो। तो उसके लिए ट्रेड यूनियन बनाते थे। तो ट्रेड यूनियंस यूज्ड टू फाइट, कहने को तो लड़ते थे वो वर्कर्स के लिए, लेकिन वो किसी के लिए नहीं लड़ते थे, अपने खुद के फायदे के लिए लड़ते थे। तो टेलर ने बोला कि अगर हम वर्कर्स और मैनेजमेंट एक दूसरे से कोऑपरेट करेंगे तो फिर हमको ट्रेड यूनियन की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी। द बेस्ट रिजल्ट वुड कम फ्रॉम द partnership between trained and qualified management and cooperated and innovative workforce. Each side needed the other. क्योंकि वर्कर्स को मैनेजमेंट की जरूरत है और मैनेजमेंट को वर्कर की जरूरत है, so we don't need any labor unions. He is known for change coinage of the term scientific management. In his article The Principles of Scientific Management, published in 1911, after being fired from Bethlehem Steel Company, he wrote a book, Shop Floor Management, which would sell well. He was selected to be the president of American Society of Mechanical Engineers. He was a professor at Tuck School of Business. In 1884, he became an executive at Midwell Steel Company by demonstrating his leadership abilities. He instructed his fellow workers to work in phases. तो आप यहाँ देख पा रहे हैं, अगर समझ पाए इतनी डिस्कशन में, तो उसने स्टार्ट किया था एज ए लेबर, एज ए अप्रेंटिस वर्कर, एंड यहाँ देखो ही बिकेम द चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव, है ना, एट मिडवेल स्टील कंपनी में जाके टॉप में पोजीशन तक पहुंच गया। सो टेलर्स जर्नी स्टार्टेड एज ए वर्कर एंड ही रीच्ड टू द टॉप मैनेजमेंट ऑफ द कंपनी. He introduced his fellow workers to work in phases. He joined the Bethlehem Iron Company in 1898, which he later became Bethlehem Steel Company. He was originally employed to introduce piece rate system. After setting up the wage system, he was given authority and more responsibility in the company. Okay. In 1910, his health started to fall. He died in 1915 due to pneumonia. A synoptic view of his contribution can be this discussion. तो ये अभी जो पढ़ा ये सब हमारा किसी एग्जाम के पर्पज का नहीं है, एग्जाम में कुछ नहीं आएगा इसमें से, बट दिस इज द background of FW Taylor. So in this background, we have to understand the concept or theories given by Taylor. One more thing, before entering in the scientific management, I would like to make clear that when the Taylor gave these concepts, they were very unique concepts at that time. Nowadays seems to be very normal things, very sometimes what is new in this, but at that time they were revolutionary things, you know. And tragedy of Taylor was that Taylor was neither supported by workers not by the management. वर्कर्स के लिए काम किया लेकिन वर्कर्स used to blame him that he's an agent of management because he wanted that everything is to be standardized, टाइम पे काम पूरा करो, इतना यूनिट बनाओ. सो वर्कर्स को लगता था कि मैनेजमेंट का वो एजेंट है, और management used to think that he is an agent of workers because he keep on discussing always about welfare of workers. So he was not trusted at that time by any of the groups, neither by workers nor by management. But he did a lot for improving the industrial efficiency or conditions at the grassroots level for the workers. अब आते हैं प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट. ठीक है. So what is the background before this concept given by FW Taylor? Mostly management decisions were taken by managers on a hit or miss method, trial and error method. समझ आ रहा है क्या आपको? सही राम? You understand trial and error method?
Yes, sir.
There are two ways of taking a decision. One is trial and error, other is scientific analysis. In trial and error, we do something and we hope everything will be all right. If everything is all right, then we will continue. If everything is not all right, then we will try another thing, then we will try another thing. So we keep on trying until we get the right way. So that is called trial and error method. We keep on trying. So, but what is the impact of this trial and error? During this journey, we have lost a lot of resources. बहुत सारे resources हम lost कर चुके होते हैं in this trial and error method, है ना. जैसे एग्जांपल बताता हूँ, किसी बच्चे को IAS का एग्जाम देना, सिविल सर्विस में जाना है. अब उसको सिस्टमेटिक कोई पता नहीं क्या सब्जेक्ट लेना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए. उसने पहले बोला नहीं मैं तो हिस्ट्री ले लूंगा, तो हिस्ट्री ले लिया. हिस्ट्री से नहीं निकला तो दूसरे साल और सब्जेक्ट चेंज कर लिया, तीसरे साल चौथा पांचवा 4-5 साल तो सब्जेक्ट ही चेंज करता रहा. तब जाके उसको समझ में आया कि ये वाला सब्जेक्ट अच्छा है. मालूम जो तब तक तो ओवरेज हो गया, एग्जाम देने के लायक ही नहीं बचा. इससे अच्छा क्या तरीका था? सही राम. दूसरा तरीका क्या हो सकता था? He has to see the syllabus, है ना, past performance record of every subject, किस सब्जेक्ट में कितना अपना एप्टीट्यूड क्या है, वो सब एनालिसिस करके डिसीजन लेता है कि दिस सब्जेक्ट इज गुड फॉर मी. तो सारा जो इतना एनर्जी वेस्ट की, एफर्ट्स वेस्ट की, दैट कैन बी सेव्ड. So before FW Taylor, mostly manager decisions were on trial and error basis. So Taylor was not agree with this. He said that this is the best of resources. So in the earlier days of the industrial revolution, in the absence of an established theory of factory organization, factory owners or managers relied on personal judgment in attending to the problems they confronted in the course of managing their work. तो हर एक अपने अपने हिसाब से डिसीजन करता था. This is what is referred as rule of thumb. इसको टेलर ने नाम दिया रूल ऑफ थंब. मुझे लगता है इसलिए ऐसा ठीक है. There was no scientific basis, no logic behind that. But मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ठीक है इसलिए मैंने किया. But no logic, illogical decisions. Managing factories by rule of thumb enabled them to handle the situation as they arose, but suffered from the limitation of a trial and error approach. For their experiences to be emulated, it was important to know what works and why does it work. For this, there was a need to follow an approach that was based on the method of science, defining a problem, developing alternative solutions, anticipating consequences, measuring progress, and drawing a conclusion. This is the scientific approach. In this scenario, Taylor emerged as the father of scientific management. He proposed scientific management as opposed to rule of thumb. तो टेलर ने बोला कि we should use scientific management or we should use scientific approach rather rule of thumb. He broke up human activity into small parts and found out how it could be done effectively in less time and with increased productivity. Okay. ये डेफिनेशन दिए, पढ़ लेना आप इतना, यहाँ से हमारा काम क्वेश्चन. इन द वर्ड्स ऑफ टेलर, साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट मीन्स knowing exactly what you want men to do and seeing that they do it in the best and cheapest way. This is the definition of scientific management given by Taylor. Scientific management means knowing exactly what you want men to do and seeing that they do it in the best and cheapest way. हमने मैनेजमेंट की डेफिनेशन पढ़ी तो वो यही थी कि knowing exactly what you want men and make sure that these objectives are achieved effectively and efficiently. So see means effectively and efficiently. So Taylor has suggested or given some principles of scientific management, and they are here. First principle of scientific management given by Taylor is science, not rule of thumb. This we are discussing in this whole discussion. So Taylor's most focus was on scientific approach. So Taylor was of the opinion that traditional method of trial and error should be replaced by scientific approach or inquiry. So in place of using rule of thumb, managers should apply scientific approach. They should analyze everything in a scientific manner and then take a right decision. So that we suggested that science, not rule of thumb. This is the first and most important principle of scientific management. That is the basis of whole scientific management concept. So Taylor pioneered the introduction of method of scientific inquiry into the domain of management. Okay. So he said that we should use scientific temperament, we should use scientific approach. Simply what we can say, that while taking a decision, while solving a problem, don't take decision that I think this is right. You are no one to say that this is right or this is wrong. So first collect the data related to that decision, related to that problem, analyze the data, and then reach to some conclusion. That will be a scientific decision. So Taylor suggested that in place of rule of thumb, we should use scientific approach. So he said, यदि वर्क स्टडी है ना, बैक आपने बात की अभी, पहले प्रॉब्लम को डिफाइन करो, फिर उसका ऑल्टरनेटिव सॉल्यूशंस कौन कौन से हो सकते हैं, एनालाइज एवरी सॉल्यूशन, एंड आफ्टर एनालाइजिंग एवरी सॉल्यूशन फाइंड आउट द बेस्ट सॉल्यूशन. सेम फॉर मेथड, लिस्ट आउट द डिफरेंट मेथड्स ऑफ डूइंग एनी स्पेसिफिक टास्क, the merits of each method, and then select the best method. ठीक है, तो ये तो पहला उसका अप्रोच था, साइंस नॉट रूल ऑफ थंब. दूसरा हार्मनी नॉट डिस्कॉर्ड. हार्मनी नॉट डिस्कॉर्ड जो मैंने आपको बताया था कि at that time what was the situation was that labor unions and management used to fight with each other. So in that scenario, Taylor suggested this principle that there must be complete harmony between workers and management. Discord means conflict. Harmony, there must be complete harmony. So managers and workers should have complete harmony for each other, and there should not be any conflict between managers and workers. So factory system of production implied that managers serve as a link between the owners and the workers. Since as managers they had the mandate to get work done from the workers, it should not be difficult for you to appreciate that there always existed the possibility of a class conflict. Manager versus workers. Taylor recognized that this conflict helped none the workers or the managers or the factory owners. इसलिए उसने क्या बोला he emphasized that there should be complete harmony between the management and workers. तो ये यहाँ से आपका प्रिंसिपल स्टार्ट हुआ, harmony not discord. So Taylor suggested that there should be complete harmony between management and workers. Both should realize that each one is important. Mental revolution. So इसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा harmony के लिए? Taylor called for complete mental revolution on the part of both management and workers. Mental revolution means change in the mentality. है ना, जो workers should be changed, और जो मैनेजमेंट सोचता था कि वर्कर काम करना चाहते हैं, ज्यादा मजदूरी लेना चाहते हैं, that should also be changed. So that is called complete mental revolution. It means that management and workers should transform their thinking. In such a situation, even trade unions will not think of going on strike. Okay. So this is called harmony not discord. Okay. तो उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा, इसने आगे सजेस्ट भी किया, management should share the gains of the company, if any, with the workers. At the same time, workers should work hard and be willing to embrace change for the good of the company. तो दो काम करने पड़ेंगे. Workers should do everything for the increasing distribute the profit of the company with workers also. तो कंपनी का जो प्रॉफिट होता है उसको वर्कर्स को ही बांटे, और वर्कर्स should think that this is my factory, do their best, and whatever production they can increase, they should contribute in them. Okay. इसलिए उसने एक स्टेटमेंट लिखा था टेलर ने कि वर्कर्स एंड मैनेजमेंट शुड नॉट फाइट टू शेयर द प्रॉफिट, बट दे शुड फाइट टू इंक्रीज द साइज ऑफ प्रॉफिट. दे शुड फाइट टू इंक्रीज द साइज ऑफ प्रॉफिट, नॉट टू शेयर द प्रॉफिट. प्रॉफिट को बांटने के लिए झगड़ा मत करो, प्रॉफिट को बढ़ाने के लिए झगड़ा करो, क्योंकि जब प्रॉफिट ज्यादा होगा तो सबको सफिशिएंट अमाउंट मिल जाएगा. ठीक है. उसके बाद है कॉपरेशन नॉट इंडिविजुअलिज्म. ये भी इसी के आगे का पार्ट है, कॉपरेशन नॉट इंडिविजुअलिज्म. अभी दो हम बाद में पढ़ेंगे, अभी इतना छोटे हैं. ठीक है. सो cooperation not individualism and development of each and every person to his greatest efficiency. Okay, so total number 19 दिखा रहा है इसमें, तो इतना 18 लोग प्रेजेंट होंगे सर, मुझे मिला के 19 है, तो अटेंडेंस 18 होगी शायद. ठीक है. Okay, so let us have Shanti part, then we shall leave.